Welcome back. I'm here today with Steve Prisante. He is the president and the chief publisher of Berrett-Koehler Publisher in San Francisco. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you very much.
Steve, can give me your background, how you got to where you are today?
Well, in college, I started a student scholarly journal, and that got me very interested in publishing. I realized I was learning more, enjoying it more than anything else I was doing in school. So then I got a job. My first job out after college was as an advertising copywriter at Joe C. Bass Publishers in San Francisco, and then I moved up to be marketing director, eventually became an editor, then moved over to the executive side, became executive vice president and president of Joe C. Bass Publishers in San Francisco. I left there in 1991 and founded Berrett-Koehler Publishers in 1992, and I've been at Berrett-Koehler ever since.
And how big is Berrett-Koehler today?
Well, we have 26 employees. We publish about 35 to 40 new books a year. We're what would be called a mid-sized book publisher, and we've been a very successful publisher.
And what year did the company start?
1992. We were founded, so we're almost finished with 22 years in business.
So what does it take to publish a book today?
Of course, it begins with an author who has a manuscript, who has an idea, but book publishing is a very complex business because there are so many different moving parts in creating a book, from the editorial side, the design and production side, the printing, sales and marketing, creating marketing channels. You have to do pretty much everything you have to do on any other product introduction in any industry to bring a book out into the marketplace. But yet books don't have as much revenue as most other kinds of products. A typical book might have $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 of revenue, and yet you do all of those other things that you do in launching any other kind of a product.
So a person coming to you and say, hey, can you publish my book? It's not that easy.
No, we get about 1,500 book projects proposed to us a year. We only publish 35 to 40. And so we have to be highly selective because most of the ideas that authors bring to us with books, either they're not a good fit with our list, or the market for them would not be large enough to make it a profitable project for us to publish. And so we have to be highly selective. And then we have to work with authors to shape and reshape the book so that they're going to succeed in the marketplace.
So essentially, in your business model, what's happening is that your company, once you select a book, you're making a tremendous investment into the production and release of the book.
Yeah, every book that we publish, we make an investment editorially in terms of time and effort of shaping the book. We hire outside manuscript reviewers who are prospective readers of the book to help make the book better. We bring in professional copy editor, and then our staff provides coaching and guidance to the authors. And then we've got the design investment of designing the cover, designing the interior, production in terms of creating the page proofs and the indexing, creating, doing the proofreading and preparing it for the printer, the printing of the book, and then many investments on sales and marketing side.
Yeah, I want to turn this back to you as the leader of the company, the visionary. What is your leadership style, and how do you manage the company?
Well, Berrett-Koehler is well known within the book publishing world for being one of the more author-friendly book publishers. And so our whole culture, our whole approach is to work very collaboratively with authors, to have authors participate in many aspects of creating their books in ways beyond what is the norm in book publishing, such as in selecting the title, in the cover design, in the marketing plans, the marketing campaign. And within the company, we have a very participative management style in that all of our staff are involved in major decisions concerning the company, as well as other stakeholders. Our basic philosophy is that our company needs to be operated in the interest of all of our stakeholders. And by stakeholders, I mean our employees, our authors, our service providers, our suppliers, our customers, our sales partners, the communities around us. And so we've set up the company so that we can involve all of our communities or stakeholders.
I'm visiting here today with Steve Persantes. He is the president and the chief publisher of Berrett-Koehler Publishing up in San Francisco. Steve, we need to take a quick break, and we'll be back after these messages.
I love fishing, with my family.
I think it would be easier to use a net.
It was so much fun.
The times when we are together, it makes it all the more worth it.
Having Dad teach them how to cast a fly rod, and
as long as we're doing stuff together, we're having fun.
Some people see a father and a son fishing together, while others see a succession plan. Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Steve Persantes. Steve is the president and the chief publisher at Berrett-Koehler Publishers up in San Francisco. Steve, how did selling books door-to-door earlier in your career help to prepare you for running your own company?
Well, I think it was one of many jobs that actually helped to prepare me. I mean, when I was 8 or 9 years old, I had a lemonade stand at the only service station in the little town where I lived. And so I had many different jobs. I don't think that selling books door-to-door particularly helped me more than just teaching me salesmanship, teaching me how to go out and really pound the pavement and make things happen.
And were you working for a publisher, or who were you working for at the time?
It was a company that had sets of illustrated scripture stories, and so it was a summer job, basically, trying to earn money going through college.
Not easy to do door-to-door?
No, that was tough.
But I'm sure it helped with life's experience there.
Right. Just teaching me different sales approaches, sales techniques. I learned a lot of the basics of salesmanship.
So what is Berrett-Koehler's current life and business initiatives?
Well, so our mission, Berrett-Koehler's mission, is creating a world that works for all. And we believe that in order to create a world that works for all, we need to have change, positive change at the individual level, at the organizational level, and at the societal level. So therefore, we have 3 publishing agendas. One is called BK Life, which is about positive change at the individual level. One is called BK Business, which is about change at the organizational level. And one is BK Currents, which is about change in communities, in nations, in society.
So when you organize, your organization basically is broken into a team. Could these be called different teams within the organization, or?
No, they're more just publishing agendas. We publish books. Those are the kinds of books that we publish. And so our staff actually works on all 3 kinds of books, and our editors work on all 3. But they're more how it's reflected in the marketplace. Within bookstores, the different books will go into different sections of bookstores. Within publicity contexts, they each have their own sets of magazines or newspaper editors or journalists that are more interested in personal development or in business or leadership or in current affairs.
How has technology changed the landscape of your industry today?
Well, technology has been huge, and of course the big news in the last 5 or 10 years has been the growth of digital publishing. Berrett-Koehler was one of the early movers in this area within book publishing. When Apple launched the iBookstore, we were one of the 7 publishers that had books there on day one as they opened it. We were one of the first publishers to create a digital community builder function. It now represents about 20% of our revenues, which is very high for nonfiction book publishing. So it's been a major part of our business.
The time to market, I guess when I talk about or think about the industry, I see a lot of the consolidations of the bookstores, and it just seems that digital is really, the way people act today is more getting it on the iPad or the Kindle rather than going into a physical store.
Yeah, well, it looked for a time as digital was just rocketing up in sales over the last several years. It looked like it was going to push print out, but actually, what's happened now is this year, digital has kind of flattened. It's kind of plateaued, and so print is not going away. We're moving into a market where there are many different formats of books, including hardcover, paperback, digital, and all coexisting, and different people like different formats, and many people buy both. They buy both digital and print, and so that's good for the industry.
I'm visiting here today with Steve Prisante. Steve is the president and the chief publisher at Berrett-Koehler Books. Steve, we need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages, talking more about the state of the industry with the book publishing.
He's the world's most trustworthy man. Tax filing deadlines are scheduled around his vacation calendar. The IRS agent who audited his client apologized.
I don't always advise people on their taxes, but when I do, I save them every penny legally possible.
GROCO CPAs and Advisors.
Come to GROCO and stay wealthy, my friend.
Welcome back. I'm here with Steve Prisante. Steve is the president and the chief publisher at Berrett-Koehler Books. And we've been talking about the state of the industry for the publishing. And, you know, Steve, it was a little surprising to me because I'm probably not as close as I think I am to the industry of, you know, I see the Kindle come out, I see the iPads come out, I think everything is going digital. And then you brought the point out that it went up digital to a point, but now the paper, the hardbacks and paperbacks are really coming back in style again. What do you see for the future? Where are we going to be 3 to 5 years from now? How are people going to get through get the material that you publish?
Well, for the last 9 years, I've been updating a document each year called The 10 Awful Truths About Book Publishing. And now this document's been viewed hundreds of thousands of times. But what it tells is that the book industry has been in very challenging times because revenues in book publishing peaked in 2007, and they've gone down since then. But the number of products being published, the number of new books being published has mushroomed, has doubled or tripled over this same period of time. Particularly with the growth of self-publishing. And so what you have within book publishing is ever more books being published while the revenues have either flattened or gone down. And so what that has meant is that it's harder and harder to sell any particular book. So the upshot of that is that authors have become much more involved in marketing their books than they used to be. And that's how publishers have basically survived, is that authors are doing much more of the marketing. So that's going to continue going on. It has become so easy to publish books through desktop publishing, through Amazon, through other means that anyone can publish a book. And so the challenge for book publishers is to create more brands and to distinguish what they're doing from the huge numbers of self-published books and other books coming out in the marketplace.
So when you publish a book, do you require the author to make a certain amount of appearances or showings with their books to promote them?
Every publisher today pays a lot of attention to what is the author bringing to the table for marketing. Are they speaking? Do they have regular speaking engagements? Do they appear on the media? Do they have lots of social media contacts? Are they very active on social media? Do they write articles? What are they going to bring to the table to help get the message of the book out there? What are their communities? How do they connect with their communities? And we do that also. That's an important consideration for any book publisher, and we probably go beyond most in really working with authors to help leverage those connections that they have.
You know, in your industry, as you see this change of technology, constant change, are there things that keep you up at night, or do you see obstacles that stand in your way of a hurdle? Yeah, we got to get through that, or things that basically challenges of the industry, I guess, what I'm asking.
I think the challenge is just all the other media that are competing for people's attention besides books. Today, people get their information from the internet. They get their information from their iPad. They get their information from so many other sources. And so trying to continue to stay ahead of that, and what's the role of the book and all this. Thankfully, what's happened is that books, long-form content, has continued to hold its value, unlike what's happened, for example, in newspapers. We're not seeing the same thing happen in book publishing. That's the good news. The challenge, though, is that there are so many competing sources of information for people to have, and so you really have to make books even better and work harder to get them out there to compete in today's marketplace.
How does audiobooks play into your company? Are you doing that also, or?
Yeah, most of our books, or many of our books, are also available in audio formats. We sell audio rights to companies that specialize in audiobooks, and that's an important source of revenue for us. It's an important way to get the messages of the book out there. And of course, what's happened in recent years is digital audio has become bigger and bigger as an area of people, how people are getting listening to books.
I noticed that Siri will even read you your emails. Maybe, I don't know, will she do digital books also, or? We're
continually doing new experiments on publishing. So, for example, one of the experiments we're doing now is what's called enhanced ebooks, where what's embedded within the books are video clips, video segments, or audio clips, audio segments. We have a book, for example, called Full Voice, which is about the different voices that people use. And that has clips of demonstrating the different voices right in the book. And so we embed self-assessments in books. There are lots of new ways of enhancing books.
What advice would you have for a budding author?
Well, the most important thing is to build a community. A lot of people think that you publish a book and then you try and get people interested in the book. You first have to, that isn't the way it works. You first have to build a community that's interested in the work you're doing, that you're connected to them, you're speaking before them, and then once you've built your community, then you can publish the book. It's almost opposite of what many authors think.
What are some of the favorite books that you published over the years?
Well, one of our favorite books is called Stewardship. It was a book we published in 1993, a year after we were incorporated, and it still guides our company. Berrett-Koehler is unusual in that we eat our own cooking. We try and learn from the books we publish, and Stewardship is a major part of how we run our company. We run the company in the interests of all of our stakeholders, and that's the idea of stewardship, that we're trustees accountable to everyone.
Who was the author to that book?
Peter Block, and we've gone on to publish several other books by Peter Block. We try and continue to work with our best authors over and over again.
Now, Steve, we need to take a quick break, and we'll come back after these messages.
With current laws, we have left our children an enormous financial burden. Even though they may be too young to understand it. At GROCO, we care about you and the ones you love, and the quality of your and their lives. Call us today to see how we can help. 877-CPA-2006.
GROCO, helping you along the way.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Steve Prisanta. He is the president and the chief publisher at Berrett-Koehler Book Publishers in San Francisco. Thank you for all this good advice and the background with the company, the book publishing today. Steve, what does it mean to you to be successful?
Well, within book publishing, you are successful in one way just by being financially sound, by meeting all of your obligations, by earning a profit, by running a fiscally sound business. In another way, in book publishing, you're successful by the impact you're having in the world. Are your books making a difference in people's lives? Are they, in our case, are the books helping communities, nations, societies deal with social justice or economic justice or become better, helping leaders be better leaders, helping organizations be more effective, helping individuals live true to their values. So it's the individual impact of different books that is a major way that we measure success.
And how, when you're measuring that success, is it by the number of books sold? Is it by the, the articles that, third-party the news medias are picking up, or how do you measure that?
Well, it is by the number of books sold. It's also by how those books are bringing about change in the world. So, for example, we have a book called Future Search, which is about a powerful way of helping communities, organizations plan for the future. And this book, over 4,000 people have been trained to use the principles, the methods in the book, and those methods have blessed the lives of tens of millions of people around the world, in all parts of the world, because of using the methods in the book. And so that's the kind of way that we want to make a difference in the world.
Of all your accomplishments, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the fact that Berrett-Koehler has stuck to our values, our principles, our commitments, even during tough times. So, for example, in 2008, 2009, during the Great Recession, it was tough times for book publishers, and we, like other publishers, saw our revenues decline. Something like 2/3 of book publishers laid off employees. We didn't lay off any employee. Instead, as we worked with our whole company, our whole staff decided together that we would take an across-the-board salary cut, 10% for most employees and lower amounts for the lower compensated employees, but instead of doing layoffs. And we stuck to our publishing plans. We didn't curtail what we were doing. We didn't shortcut our ways of working with authors, and so it's been this commitment to our values, our principles, our ways of doing things, even in tough times, that I'm most proud of.
I'm visiting here today with Steve Prasanta. He's the president and the chief publisher at Berrett-Koehler Publishers. Steve, you have a number of books that are out there today at Berrett-Koehler. How does a person find you on the web?
Well, we have a website, a very active website, bkconnection.com. B is for Barrett, K is for Koehler, bkconnection.com. And it's easy to contact us there. On the website are instructions of how to submit a book proposal, and of course on the website's information about all of our books, all of our authors, and a lot of our distinctive practices.
Good stuff. And I know that you have a lot of great content also on leadership in there too, and lots of relevant books that can help a person aspiring to improve their leadership skills and run their own business. Steve, thank you for joining today's show.
Thank you.